Charlie died from a kick in the abdomen. The story was a car hit him. Miss Kitty, her neck was accidentally broken. Macy and Tiger both were poisoned slowly. Peanut, beat to death with a crutch. It takes a truly evil person to kill such a sweet kitten. I think Trisha felt that if she couldn't keep her marriage together, it was like a failure for her.
I need to know the truth to be able to tell people that you're not a serial killer, that you're some psychopath who has no remorse over killing the mother of your child.
We were told that what they found was gruesome. And then they're like, oh, it's not pretty. And then he told us the actual details as they were pulling it out. He's like, this is not what we thought it was. He said, I've just made a deal with the devil. I can't believe it.
A single mother who loves her child more than life itself disappears into thin air. It doesn't just happen. There's something behind that.
I was trying to de-escalate the situation because I couldn't get out. I didn't know where to go. I couldn't even just leave.
I'm laughing at his acting job. He's not even good at it.
I haven't been out here very often, but occasionally I just like to because, I don't know, I just sort of feel her more here than I did in the cemetery. It's almost like you can feel her presence out here. I know she's in heaven. She's whole. She's happy. It is peaceful. It is. First date between Stephen and Trisha. I think she was either a junior or senior, so she was 17 or 18 in that picture. Sometimes you just meet someone and you just have a caution about them. He wasn't really friendly. You would think that if you're going to date somebody's daughter, you would be friendly with the parents. You would smile. You would maybe joke. Your eyes might twinkle or something. Just kind of deadpan. And that just didn't fit my daughter. I don't remember when I learned that things were serious. They must have had more of a relationship than showed to me. She was a private person. She made up her own mind about things. She told me that they went off and had their own little wedding. That's about all I knew about it. I felt bad for her when I heard that because I know she would have enjoyed having a normal wedding. But she's Trisha. She will do what she will do. Trisha wanted to be a mother so badly. And she was just so happy in every stage of it. And then when that little girl was born, she was such a treasure to her. She would hardly put her down until I said, Trisha, if you want that little one to learn to crawl, you're going to have to put her on the floor sometimes. She really loved that little girl.
This is a photo of my sister at my brother's wedding. Trisha was just really adventuresome and a really sweet girl, but tough, from the military. She was a lot of fun. Trisha joined the Air Force out of high school. She went to basic training and stuff, and then when she got out, we just heard that she was married. I think there was just a little bit of family drama, and there wasn't another good place to go, and then I think it just took a little bit of stress off of everybody. It was a good chance for me to go see my sister, and then my sister also wanted to be in her younger brother's lives, so it worked out really well for me to go up there and stay with them. She had built a path in life, and she was doing great. Me and Stephen would play video games together a lot. I would say he would strike you as a nerd, as a strong, well-put-together nerd. I always thought he was really smart. He was really friendly, and, I looked up to him back then. At the time, he had been deployed as an F-16 mechanic to follow Air Force One around, and it was kind of a special honor to do that. And then he'd have to leave for a week or 2 weeks at a time for work. I know that traveling for long periods of time for work can be hard on a relationship. They were pretty happy together, but I don't think that was very far into their marriage. And I think their marriage was happier at the start for sure.
The case started in an innocuous fashion. I got a call from my boss. He had, in his words, a bad feeling about the situation. On April 27th, family could not locate Trisha. Her car was found with the keys to the ignition next to the residence that she was living at the time in Florida. Her purse was in the vehicle, her wallet was missing, and her cell phone was missing. That obviously sent up alarm bells relatively quickly for the family. Road Patrol deputy responded, and it started from there. Really, it was just a missing person at that point. Nothing more, nothing less. Trisha was known for going on nature hikes, long walks, and within a couple of days missing. They had all-terrain vehicles out in rural parts of the county. It was a massive search. The air units were up looking in rural areas that were difficult to reach by motor vehicles. The community response was rapid. So between the volunteers and really the entire agency of the Martin County Sheriff's Office being involved in an all-out search for her, this really became big local news. But they were very quickly running into a dead end. And about 5 days without any further knowledge of where Trisha was, we had a meeting at the sheriff's office. We were very quickly becoming concerned that there was foul play involved. It's not a stretch of the imagination for me to say that when a woman goes missing, it often turns out to be foul play, and that the person involved is either the husband, the boyfriend, the ex-husband, or the ex-boyfriend. I would say everybody in the room knew that the person that may be responsible and probably was responsible for her disappearance was Stephen Williams. My boss very matter-of-factly stated, "Why aren't we in North Carolina?"
The first years of Trisha's marriage, they're in the Air Force. So when you're in the Air Force, you go where the Air Force sends you, and you have to be there. So we didn't see them that often. And when she would come home, she would talk positively about positive things. I didn't know anything was wrong. She was very good at hiding how she felt. I didn't know the worst of it for a long time. Trisha was, I'm sure, very nervous about Stephen's upcoming visit because this is the first. It was the first time after the divorce that he was allowed by the military to actually come down and actually have an in-person visit with his little girl. And then it was going to be an overnight visit for her daughter. That little girl was Trisha's most important thing in life. A big red flag to me, and when I first knew something was wrong, was the next day when Trisha did not pick up her little girl from the babysitter. Now that would tell all of us that something was wrong. And I think at that point, that's when we called the police.
They brought everyone in for questioning. They brought my dad. They brought, everyone who's even remotely involved, brought him in for questioning. I think a lot of people had a lie detector test, including my dad, myself, some of my brothers. I don't think they had any leads. They were trying to chase everything and find something. I didn't suspect Stephen at all. I didn't know what had happened between him and my sister, but I just always really kind of had respect for him. And my only experience had been really positive with him. But other people did suspect Stephen. I think they questioned him right off the bat. And then they came back and they were like, well, he's pretty clear. We're going to leave him alone. But it speaks to how much mystery there was at the time and how nobody had any answers and they were just searching for anything.
The Martin County Sheriff's Office had only spoken with Mr. Williams over the telephone. Within the first day or two, what was known was that Stephen Williams had been down from North Carolina, where he was in the Air Force. He had rented an Airbnb so that he could spend some time with their child. We know that Trisha had gone to the house that Stephen had rented based on his statement that he gave. The child had been dropped off. He mentioned that when she was about to leave, she noticed that her fuel tank was pretty much on empty. He went and obtained gasoline for her at a local gas station, returned, put gas in her car. She left, and that was the last he saw her. As far as we knew, the last person to see Trisha was her ex-husband, Stephen Williams. And as a result, he very quickly became a person of interest. A decision was made by the sheriff's office that they were going to drive up. We arrived there quite early in the morning. We knocked on the door. He answered the door. From my vantage point, he did seem somewhat surprised that we were there. He did agree to come to the Raleigh Police Department for an interview. But his story was more or less the same that he had already provided to the family, as well as to us. But when he was asked if he would agree to submit to a polygraph examination, he declined, which certainly raised alarm bells with me. And he left to head back to work. Not long thereafter, he had called in and decided that he was willing to do it. He changed his mind. I was stunned that he changed his mind and agreed to do it. And now, of course, what's going through my mind is maybe he isn't involved. I mean, who would submit to a polygraph if you are involved? He sat for the polygraph. Mr. Williams appeared to me to be calm and quite deliberate with his responses. Do you know where Trisha Todd is? No. Did you have any involvement in the disappearance of Trisha Todd? No. Surprisingly enough, the polygraph came back as inconclusive. And frankly, the polygraph examiner confided in me, said, look, maybe this guy's telling the truth, which I couldn't believe it. Honestly, I thought we were at a dead end. That was a long drive home from North Carolina. I'm not just talking about the drive time. It was a lot of conversation in the car, a lot of phone calls being made back home. What are we going to do? What's our next move? I don't believe that we were thinking we were going to find her alive at that point. I felt as though this was now a long shot, that I did not know how this would end.
Trisha didn't hardly talk about what had happened until she left him. That's when things started coming out. She said when he would come back from his deployment, she would go to the airport to pick him up, and there were his girlfriends waiting for him as well. But he obviously didn't care about hurting her. Frankly, I think that would have been a good time to say goodbye, Stephen. But she hung on. I think Trisha let out her feelings more on her live journal, which had a password on it, so we couldn't see it. I think that was her way of letting some of this stuff out. She had two of the cutest little dogs, and this is their picture here, Cecil and Charlie. Charlie died from a kick in the abdomen. The story was a car hit him. My neighbor helped me bury him while Stephen played video games. Miss Kitty, her neck was accidentally broken. Macy and Tiger, both were poisoned slowly. Peanut, beat to death with a crutch. I couldn't make an excuse for him that time. It takes a truly evil person to kill such a sweet kitten. I finally saw him for what he was and left him. Stephen stood and watched coldly while I cried my eyes out, cleaning up the blood. Yeah, that's terrible. That is really terrible, and I'm sure it broke her heart.
So the sheriff's office conducted an exceedingly exhaustive investigation here in this case. Much of the story that he told us up to that point did track a neighbor living in one of the homes around the rented home that Mr. Williams was at. Did tell us that Mr. Williams did approach at very late in the evening. He was looking for a gas can. And when they didn't have one, he then indicates to us, well, I went down to the gas station. We were able to get the video of that. And then he returns home. So that story corroborated something that he told us between the neighbors and the video at the gas station. One of the tools that we had at our disposal were video cameras. And in this instance, it was a business that was near the Airbnb that Mr. Williams had rented. On that video camera, we believed we could make out at a point roughly 4 o'clock in the morning on April 27th, there is a figure that is walking along the road that would be coming from Trisha Todd's residence towards Mr. Williams' Airbnb. We could not make out who this individual was, but based on the height of the individual, as well as how heavy the appearance of the individual was, it could very well have been Mr. Williams. They confronted him with some of the video evidence. And during this conversation, Mr. Williams changed his story for the first time. And for the first time, the version of the events were he left to get the gas. Upon his return to the Airbnb, he went into the residence. Trisha was down unconscious with a head wound or a gash. His version is it appeared to him that she had fallen down and struck her head. He stated that for whatever reason, he panicked and he was uncertain if she was dead or not, but he did not think she was. And what he did was he loaded her body into her vehicle, drove the vehicle to a rural road, positioned her body on the side of the road, leaving her wallet and her cell phone with her so that in the event she became conscious, she would have the means and the ability to get help or transportation.
Okay, so you come back and then
She stays in here while I go and get gas. And then I come back, put the gas in her car, put the gas can in her trunk. And when I come back inside, I figured she'd still be here or wherever, but she wasn't. So
where was she?
she was in here and she was laying this way. I didn't even touch her initially because I didn't even know what to do. I just kind of paced and tried to figure out what I was supposed to do. I didn't know if I should call anyone because all I thought about was, great, I call the police and they show up. And then how does this look? You know, it's stupid late and your ex-spouse is unconscious on a bedroom floor. Like, how does that look? You know, how do you explain that?
I didn't believe that story, but we still did not have enough to arrest him. And unless we had a body where a medical examiner could have engaged in a full forensic examination of the remains, and we didn't have anything else to go on.
Where did you pull off to the side of the road? Just looking familiar? Did you put her by the water?
Remember there being any water. If I knew where,
You do know.
I would take you
Steven,
right there. That
you
would be-
do know where she's at. The only reason that you would not take us to her is if something else happened in that house, and you're not telling me. Where did you take her to?
I don't know.
The narcissist tells these stories thinking that we're going to believe them. Someone who has an oversized sense of their own intellect and intelligence.
So your daughter's going to grow up knowing that dad got rid of mom's body. That's what your daughter's going to
anything
grow
about
up.
getting rid of a body. I don't even know what you do with the body. I don't know the first thing about any of that.
We knew Trisha Todd was dead. We just didn't know how. We didn't know where. And we weren't going to let this go. For the next few hours, we drove around relatively aimlessly, I thought. I did not think he was being truthful. Every time we would go down a road, he would say, it looks like the area. This could be it. It never was. We went back to the sheriff's office. We placed him in an interview room. Multiple people attempted to have a conversation with him, confront him with the fact that we did not believe his entire story. And we called at that point the state attorney. He instructed us to give it one more go with a fresh new detective, and hopefully a new face would jog something.
So what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you, Dad?
I want you to tell me the
Because
truth.
I'm telling you, I didn't hurt this woman.
Okay.
I never did anything to injure her or hurt her. My only mistake is I didn't just accept that this is the situation and call 911. That's what I should have done. I just panicked.
I need you to tell me the truth about what happened. I know you were there. I want to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened. I know you didn't, but it's not something that's you can let you weigh you down for the rest of your life.
So yeah, she came over, talking about nonsense and bringing up child support. And then she's just going on and on about now I owe her more money and back child support. It just got so aggressive and I'm just trying to back away and de-escalate and I can't even leave the house now. And then she gets even more aggressive and in my face and pushing me back and it just escalated. And then I just moved her away and then she slipped. And that's when she freaking fell. And I'm like, oh, I asked her if she was okay. It was like a weird sound. She didn't say anything though. And then I freaking panicked. I was trying to de-escalate the situation because I couldn't get out. I didn't know where to go. I couldn't even just leave. Like all I wanted to do was just leave. I just wanted nothing to do with that.
But we need to know where Trisha is.
I don't know.
I'm laughing at his acting job. I mean, he's not even good at it. It is challenging to get a conviction when there's no body. It's a challenge, but it can be done. In this instance, the detective was able to finally get him to at least admit that he had pushed her down. He's making an admission, ultimately, about what happened. And it was enough for us now to charge him with second-degree murder based on that statement.
The county attorney called a meeting and we discussed it. You know, what did we want to do? How badly did we want to find her? That decision was important because I think I could have spent the rest of my life thinking about where she was. It would have tortured the boys too, her brothers. And what would we say to her little girl when she was grown? Stephen had a very manipulative personality. He obviously knew exactly where she was. I just wanted to find her body. Even if they had to make a deal with him, it was more important to the family to get her body back.
He had something that the parents wanted, and that was their daughter. Terrible position that they were put in, and they were quite courageous in their decision, frankly. So we collectively decided that the number was going to be 35 years in prison. I was fully expecting, okay, we're going to have a recovery of a body. There is obviously, going to be decomposed remains at this point. It's roughly a month later, but nothing more than that. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that it was going to end up being what it was. Once the plea deal was accepted by the judge, Mr. Williams' lawyer explained to me for the exhumation of the remains of Trisha Todd, we were going to need a hazmat team. And I literally asked him, what are you talking about? And he explained to me that we'll find that she has been dissolved in acid. And he went on to tell me that he had dismembered her, removing all of her teeth and also removing all of her fingertips. It was terrible.
So where you placed the flag is where, and about how far down are we going?
2.5 feet.
Okay. It's about 2.5 feet down? Okay. And there's no way it could be any back further, or you're certain this is it here?
This is good.
Okay.
All he is just doing is, in an unemotional way, just bringing us to the remains of Trisha. I got the sense that he just didn't want to be there. Is this guy a human? Right? That's what everyone's asking themselves. Members of fire rescue were able to bring this plastic tub up, and lifting it out of the ground was a frothy, reddish soup of what turned out to be the remains of Trisha Todd that were overflowing. And all that was ultimately recovered, all that was not liquefied, that was located, was part of Trisha's pelvic region, as well as part of her torso. We were frankly numb. I was numb. What you saw was something that you don't unsee. Shock. This was the most horrendous case that I've ever been involved in as a prosecutor. You know, this case is a perfect example. You never know about the evil that is among us. You recognize the true evil that Stephen Williams is.
We were told that what they found was gruesome and we shouldn't come if we weren't prepared to come. And then I remember that only a couple of us went. Like, I remember one of the first details we got was, well, it's buried. It's not on the surface, like he said. And so they were like, that's a bad sign. And then they're like, oh, it's not pretty. And then, like, he told us, like, the actual details as they were pulling it out. He's like, you know, this is not what we thought it was. He said, like, I've just made a deal with the devil. I can't believe it.
A dive team ended up going into a body of water that was adjacent to where we found her remains. Electric saws were located. They still had what appeared to be flesh in them. I believe some pliers were located. And then on the bank, saw teeth, where Mr. Williams dropped some teeth as apparently before he was able to actually throw them into the water. Just a terrible, terrible situation. That was quite a moment. I'd never seen anything like that and hope that I never do again.
Well, what he had done was to dismember her with a chainsaw that he bought at least a month earlier. And then he put her in a Rubbermaid tub and filled it with acid and buried the tub. Yeah, it was horrible. What kind of heart must somebody like that have? Very evil one. But you can, like, take maybe a certain amount of time and think about that for a while, but then you have to put it away. You can, and if you carry it heavy all the time, you can make yourself sick. So you just, I think it's just something you learn. I didn't know it before. I had to kind of learn.
It was our understanding that he was having to pay child support. And that was certainly something that he did not want to have to be responsible for. I would say that, unfortunately, people have killed for less. After it was all said and done and further investigations were able to be done by investigators with the Air Force, it was discovered that on some of Mr. Williams' computers at work on the Air Force Base had been utilized for research in terms of methodologies of killing and acid. And he had also purchased the chemicals, had the plastic containers, the tubs, and he would have had to drive many hundreds of miles from North Carolina to Hobe Sound with all of this in his car. It explains why when offered the polygraph exam, he initially said no, Then it explains why he may have changed his mind. This was definitely a heightened premeditated event for sure. Thought out, planned out. He had the whole thing worked out. It doesn't matter because we cut a deal and we have to live with it. No one would cut deals with prosecutors if you didn't agree to follow through on what you promised to do. The plea deal in this case with both myself and my colleagues and my boss too, really got under our skin. This wasn't justice. Not for Trisha. The Air Force has a slam dunk first-degree murder case. Can't lose. Stephen Williams played everybody, right? I mean, yeah, he's serving prison time. He's doing 35 years. But in 2046, he wins. Stephen Williams played us. And he played on Trisha's parents. He knew that they were going to jump at wanting the body, wanting her remains. Yeah, he got us. Wish we could have done more.
We talked about what Trisha should be remembered for a lot when it was happening. And we came to that Trisha would forgive, so that we should. It was a huge honor to Trisha. I think if we hadn't thought of that, I don't think we would have made it through as calmly. I think before we thought of that, we were all in emotional distress about it and kind of freaking out. And then after we came to that, it made us able to deal with it a lot better. I struggle to think that people have evil in them. And a lot of people disagree with that. I got one tattoo after Trisha died. For Trisha, I got understanding tattooed on my ribs and to remind myself to always try. And to me, that carries the same function that forgiving people does for other people. It's been rough. It's hard on the brain going through the stress, and I think some of us make it a point to not dwell on the past, but
there wasn't much of her left to bury. We had her cremated and she was just in this little box, the little Air Force sticker on the top. But I don't focus on what was left of her. I know where she is. I know she's in heaven. She's whole. She's happy. She wanted to get married again. She wanted to have a happy family. She actually bought this wedding dress at a thrift store, which I thought was very ugly. Didn't tell her so, but I thought, Trisha, no. And after she died, and I found out what happened to her, and that's when God just spoke to me and said, this is the part that I got to try not to cry. He said, she didn't need that old body. I've given her a brand new one. And I'm giving her a wedding dress that's more beautiful than you can imagine. And that just went, relief. He didn't take her away forever because I intend to go to heaven too, and I will have her forever and ever and ever. He did not take her away forever. Right around here's where he buried her. It might have been right up there. This is kind of a place Trisha would have liked. She was a very outdoor person. Not that she'd want her final remains here, but sometimes I just like to kind of feel her. She would have liked it out here.
Every time I sit down to write this, I wind up sitting here sobbing for hours. Do you know what it feels like to lose a parent? Do you know what it feels like to lose a parent to senseless violence?
The vehicle is passing 3rd Avenue. The speeds are 100 miles an hour.
Almost every night, the same nightmare plays on repeat. I get a phone call around 9 at night. We think your dad is missing. Seconds turn to minutes, turns to hours. My entire family looking to me for answers. And I have none. But I still hold hope that they'll find him alive. 3 a.m. My phone rings. They found him. Dead.
Rescue response to driver appears unconscious.
She's a murder suspect out of North Carolina. All right.
I certainly never thought she would murder him. I wouldn't learn where until about a week later, where they found him, how they found him. My father was taken from me. I can't call him just to talk anymore, but I'm lucky. The last thing I said to him was, "Bye, Dad. I love you."
That picture. that sums up Uncle Jim. This is about when he stepped in to help my mom with us when my dad stepped out. And this is, around the times that my mom tells those funny stories about coming home and Uncle Jim trying to change baby diapers with clothespin on his nose. He was more than an uncle to me. He was a father figure to me. He gave up part of his life to help my mother raise my sister and I. She was a single mom of twin girls, and he gladly helped her raise us. He was the uncle that took me every summer and let me go lobstering with him and took me fishing and just make my summer. I very, very, very much looked forward to Uncle Jim coming to North Carolina. But I was definitely a little disappointed in where he bought a home, despite that being a brand new subdivision. If you went further down the road, there was a lot of rundown trailers and drugs and things like that. There's a corner store. You could probably go to the corner of Uncle Jim's backyard and throw something and hit the store. It was that close. And like most corner stores in rural North Carolina, this one really didn't attract the best crowds because they would gather around the slot machines and hang out in there constantly. The concern was not him getting in trouble with all of these people. My concern was something bad was going to happen to him in that area. I kept my concerns about Uncle Jim buying a house in that neighborhood to myself because at that point, what was I going to do? He already bought the house. So, it was just like, let him be happy. And he'll find out on his own and it'll be over. But no one thinks it's going to be over in the manner it was over for him.
Billy, it's your dad. I love you. I just wanted to talk to you, so give me a call for a change of pace. All right? I'll have to come all the way home to kick your ass. All right, love you. Bye.
That's my dad.
I miss him a lot. And hearing his voice helps that.
When all of this was happening with my dad, I went by Kellyanne. In 2020, I changed my name to Roman. I figured out that I am trans. And so I've started to live my truth. So my dad, he was just the best thing since sliced bread to me. My dad was a kind and loving man. He really just wanted everybody to be happy and well taken care of. I grew up with my mom. My dad and her split up, and he moved to Nantucket. So on the weekends when I was younger, I would go to Nantucket and we would go out on the boat. He was a lobsterman and a fisherman for most of his life. My dad was very, very handsome, and he was a ladies' man. He's a very free spirit, so feeling tied down in a relationship is not exactly, when he was younger, what he wanted. I think that as he got older, he wanted to settle down
He was slowing down as far as his health and stuff goes. So I think he wanted just a companion, like a life companion. I think I was scared more than he was about the surgery. It was very, very nerve-wracking. I did something I don't usually do, which is I prayed. And I don't do that, but I did at that point. When the doctors came in and said everything went well, it was a huge weight lifted off. It kind of gave me a new outlook on life, his surgery, just because in a blink of an eye, it can all be taken away. So after his surgery, he was on the up and up. He wanted a fresh start. And he found that in North Carolina, mostly because my cousin Victoria was down here and she loved it. The years after he moved to North Carolina were a little tumultuous for our relationship. I felt almost like he was abandoning me because he was so far away. And I definitely wish I had been better about keeping in contact with him. I just wish he was still here.
In the morning, we walk into our meeting room and the captain's going over the daily reports that came from the night prior, and the Pannoni case came up. What stood out to me about the James Pannoni case is the way the case came to us, the way that the family called. He was a missing person. They haven't talked to him in several days. When the family called, their concern was that he had recently had open heart surgery, and they were trying to see if law enforcement could find him. When the original call came out, the deputy was responding to what's called a wellness check. The deputy knocked on the doors, he checked the windows, he didn't see any signs of anybody in the house. He tried to call Mr. Pannoni, no one answered. There was no vehicle in the driveway. There was no signs that someone had been there in the last couple of days. They basically told them the vehicle was there overnight. When deputies ran the plates, that's when they found that it was registered to Mr. Pannoni. And then they connected the dots with Mr. Pannoni's missing person report. That is when the case was sent up to detectives for further investigation. I mean, no one just leaves their vehicle parked in the alleyway or in between two trailers and walks off. In a case like this, every minute counts. So we were already behind and we needed to move to find, one, why was his truck there? Two, where is he at? We couldn't drag our feet. I felt that Mr. Pannoni was hurt, killed. Just now it's by who, by what, where, when, where is his body if he was.
When I first saw this house, I thought, how amazing. Look what you got for yourself, this beautiful new home. And now when I see this house, it gives me knots in my stomach. Like to me, it looks like the house of horrors. They've met when he was playing the slot machine at the convenience store right next door to his house. And that's when most of us didn't hear much from Uncle Jim anymore. I did hear that he told my mom that he was very excited because she was a pretty woman. She was smaller in stature, had long, beautiful hair. And, he was really excited that someone was paying attention. When Uncle Jim met Sandra, he kind of just shut off on everyone. Well, we figured, hey, he met a woman and, he's living his own life. He's got his new home. He's got a girlfriend. Let's let him do his own thing, My mom called me and she was just panicked. She was telling me that she couldn't get a hold of my Uncle Jim. She's like, please, can you just drive there? Can you go check on him? I feel like something's wrong. I was picturing him either hurt or sick inside of his house. Has he had a heart attack? I dropped everything I was doing and just head straight to Uncle Jim's house. I pull up on scene and I, hop out, and the deputy's like, who are you? I was like, well, I'm his niece. I'm, his family member that lives in North Carolina. And they're like, do you have a key to the house? And I was like, no, actually, I don't. And I don't know why I don't, but I don't. He was like, well, basically there's nothing I can do for them. I asked the deputy all these questions. He did have a bypass. What if he's laying on the floor? And, he explained to me the difference between entering for a well-being check or, an actual medical situation. It was extremely frustrating to me that we could not forcibly enter the home. And then he just randomly brought up this flower garden. He's like, oh yeah, I noticed it looks like he just recently started a flower garden in the backyard. And I was like, what are you talking about, this flower garden? His backyard is like a half acre of dirt. He would never just plant a flower garden on dirt. And then I started thinking about it and I was like, oh gosh. I was like, that is just like a terrible sign. Your heart is just racing, takes your breath away a little bit. It's almost like you could just jump out of your own body. If it was up to me, I would have grabbed a shovel and dug up that garden myself. I just knew. I called my mom and I told her, I said, I think he's gone. You just feel like someone's just gone. They're no longer here.
We were playing Dungeons and Dragons, and I got the call from my cousin Danny. And he basically was just like, I don't really know how to say this, so I'm just gonna say it. But your dad, we think, is missing. And at that point, my heart dropped completely. I started panicking. I didn't know what to do. I mean, how do you process that? I was trying to use social media, which was how we communicated most to get in touch with him. I also was calling his cell phone number, just kept going to voicemail. I knew something was not okay. The fact that he wasn't answering multiple phone calls from myself was very alarming.
At this point in the investigation, I'm still up in the air on whether Mr. Pannoni is just not wanting to talk to family, just out doing his own thing. I mean, he's 61 years old. He doesn't have to check in with anybody. So at this point, it was just whether or not Mr. Pannoni is where he wants to be or not. When I go back to my desk, I'm looking at the photos of Mr. Pannoni's truck. One of the windows was rolled down and the keys were in the ignition. There were lumps of hair found throughout the car. It looked like someone got into a fight and the hair was pulled out. After reading the reports, looking at the pictures, it just did not sit well with me. Who was in the truck with Mr. Pannoni? What happened to the person? Why is there these chunks of hair in the car? I needed it to tell a story and it just was not lining up right now. The first place we went to was to speak with the girlfriend. She had told the deputies that night that she hadn't seen him in a couple of days. But I needed to know more than just when the last time she saw him. I needed to know, what their relationship was like. Was it rocky? Were they in good standings? Now we need to hear it from her, what was actually going on. We drove to Jones County where Miss Wagner lives. I asked her if we can go inside the house to talk. And while we're in the house, I began to ask her questions about Mr. Pannoni. I could see that she's getting upset because of the way I'm asking questions in regard to her relationship. So I asked her about her hair. I said, we found a lot of hair in Mr. Pannoni's truck. And that's when Miss Wagner said, I put Mr. Pannoni's truck in the trailer park. And she said, Mr. Pernoni told me to put it there. He was running away from law enforcement because he was in a car accident in Swansboro. And he was drinking and left the scene. And he didn't want to get arrested. Mr. Pernoni wanted to get rid of his vehicle, change his name so that he wouldn't be arrested by law enforcement for the accident that he did in Swansboro. And I'm like, okay, well, where was Mr. Pernoni when you put the truck there? And she said he was at home. But at this point, she didn't know where he was. What did you do with Mr. Pernoni? It was in my head. Everything that she said during the interview, it makes me believe she's lying to me. But I wanted her to feel like I believed what she was saying. I wanted her to feel comfortable enough to continue talking to us. We had no body, we had no crime scene, we had nothing. We needed more. I felt that Sandra was either responsible or involved in Mr. Pernoni's disappearance.
She looked like she had lived a decently hard life. I think he saw someone he could help in the beginning. And I think that he wanted to be like a knight in shining armor. And he tried.
It was a couple of months into it, and there were some red flags that I had seen and heard. He had once told me that she had wiped his bank account and that she had struggled with drugs. That was when I really started harping on him about separating from her. He was very insistent that she had changed her ways, that she was on the right path now, and I wasn't so sure. I called him for his birthday in March, and he told me that he was separated and was very much so doing his own thing. I believed that she was completely out of the picture. That's what he led me to believe. That was the last time I talked to him, was on his birthday. And I was lucky because I got to tell him that I loved him.
I called my mother when I was leaving Uncle Jim's house. My mom sounded distraught. She was anxious. She wasn't tearful yet. She was mad. And I know it's because she wanted answers. She wanted to know where her brother was. And she was irate with this woman. My mom stayed in touch a lot via social media messenger. And she had been sending messages to his account. And the messages were getting shorter. The language wasn't like his. And she said, I think that it's this woman using his phone sending me messages. This is not him. At this point, she was calling out Sandra. Sandra, I know this is you. What have you done to my brother? And then my uncle's social media was logged off. She said something's happened. I just know it.
When I left Sandra Wagner's house, I was very suspicious of her. She stated that the accident that Mr. Pernoni was in happened in the next town over. I knew my next steps would be to make contact with a law enforcement officer in that town to see if we can verify that the accident actually happened and there was a report taken. The victim stated that he was hit by the same vehicle that Mr. Pernoni drove, but that the vehicle fled and he identified the driver as a female instead of a male. It made me believe that the only reason Ms. Wagner knew about the accident is because she was the driver and she's the one who fled. And the reason why she fled is because she didn't want to have any contact with law enforcement. I needed to find out what she did with Mr. Pernoni. The next step is searching Mr. Pernoni's house. Once we obtained the search warrant, we headed out there with CSI investigators. Honestly, I was hoping to find Mr. Pernoni in one of the bedrooms. I was hoping that he may have passed of old age, but that is not what we found. Walking into the house, I noticed that it was well maintained. It was cleaned. I hate to say it, for a 61-year-old male, it was very clean. When I walked into the bathroom, I smelled bleach, as if someone had cleaned it. He had a cloth shower curtain, and behind it wasn't the plastic. No one lives like that. You're going to put the plastic on to prevent the water from coming out. My automatic thought process was he's probably wrapped up in it somewhere. I can't 100% say, but that was what was going through my head. It being super clean suggests that someone cleaned it and got rid of all the evidence, everything that would have been needed to tell us what happened to Mr. Pannoni. There was no signs that we could see of an altercation happening there or anybody being stabbed or shot. There was nothing. They did Mr. Pannoni's room. They did the second bedroom to the right, but it was the third bedroom to the left that when they went in and they did the luminol, that it showed that there was blood on the bed frame and on the floor. Lit up where the potential for blood to have been. It is very apparent that Mr. Pannoni was killed there. At this time, I'm standing outside talking to my supervisors about the information we got. And as we're walking to the back of the house, we noticed that there was a flower bed, brand new mulch, border, no weeds. My hair was standing on the back of my neck. And my supervisor starts pulling at the flower bed. Everything came up. All the flowers were still in the plastic pots that they come in. While they're digging in the flower bed, they were able to see plastic. And as they got closer, they did smell bleach. And so they continued, and once they did unearth the body that was there, we were able to confirm it was Mr. Pannoni. And yes, he was in fact wrapped in the shower curtains. Now we know where he was killed. We need to know by who.
It was 3 a.m. when Detective Flores called me. Her voice was shaking a lot, and I just kind of knew that something was wrong. She told me where they found him, right outside the back door to his house, buried underneath a freshly planted garden of pansies. I don't even remember hanging up the phone, to be quite honest. I just remember running across the hall to my mom's room and kind of diving in bed with her. Just a mess. It definitely felt like a nightmare. It was more of a night terror. I thought at any moment I would wake up and it would be fine, everything would be normal, and Dad would still be alive, and it wasn't the case.
Mr. Pannoni was stabbed around 4 times in the heart. It looked like they attempted to dismember him by sawing through his elbow. Seeing that would indicate rage. Someone enraged stabbed him multiple times. Indicates someone who's in close connection with him. At this point, the prime suspect was Sandra Wagner. Because of the news being out there that Mr. Pannoni was found, there was a lot of moving parts that we had, so we had to move quick. So the next day, I needed bank records for Mr. Pannoni so I could track down when his last purchase was. The financial records came back, and we took each purchase and went straight to the company and was able to find after March, beginning April, there were no more purchases done by Mr. Pannoni. They were all done by Sandra Wagner. They did have surveillance. So we were able to get the time frame of the transaction and then go to the facility, and they were able to bring up the cameras for that time. And during that time, it would show Sandra Wagner alone making the purchase, and Mr. Pannoni was not there. One of the transactions were for a hardware store where she purchased 2 coolers and then returned the coolers a couple of days after. And then I needed to also track those flower pots that we found at the site. So we photographed the flower pots and documented the UPC code that were on the flower pots. Based on the UPC code, we were able to track it back to a garden center where it was sold, where she would purchase bleach and cleaning products like that. And then, of course, the flowers, the border, the lights, the mulch that she put on the burial site. And then it shows her going to the ATM and withdrawing about $600. And then 2 days after that, she withdrew another $600. I can't prove it, but given that she did try to chop Mr. Pannoni up, I believe she may have tried to or want to use the coolers to place the body parts in there. Because of how difficult the actual plan was to perform, she stopped and had to come up with a new one. Sandra Wagner did this, and now here is the evidence showing that she was involved. And even though we don't have her actually doing the murder, this is circumstantial evidence surrounding it that would lead us to believe that she committed the murder. I needed to get Sandra back into the office and have a formal sit-down interview with her. I gave her a phone call, asked her if she would come in. She stated she wasn't going to come in until she spoke with her attorney. So we set up a time for, I believe it was 3:30 in the afternoon. 3:30 came, and it's like, I had her, she was here, now she's running. How long is she going to run for? How long until we actually get her behind bars and let her answer for what she did? Sandra was scared. And when Miss Sandra didn't show up, I tried to call her a couple of times, and there was no answer. At that point in the investigation, there was a warrant issued out for her. She was a wanted individual. Not knowing where Sandra was, I felt like a disappointment. When they found her leaving the grocery store, she took off in her vehicle and led them on a high-speed chase.
The vehicle is passing 3rd Avenue, Ross Clark Circle, 3rd Avenue. Speeds are 100 miles an hour. I can't see her.
I've lost visual.
All right, she's coming up on Columbia Highway. Somebody else take it, please. I'm too far behind.
Where she crashed into a tree.
What did you say? Can't hear you. What did you say? Downgrade everybody.
Rescue response. Driver appears unconscious.
No, not right now.
All right, she's breathing.
All right, what do we got? We got breathing?
When you're scared, you do stupid things. And in this situation, it caused her to run from her actions. And I mean, you can only run for so long. Are they going to ever have closure? She's manipulated him since day one. She knew what she wanted when she got through the door. She knew what she was going to use him for. And then eventually, when it became time that she couldn't get any more from him, she got rid of him. Working cases like this is why I got into law enforcement. I was able to help a family get through the worst time in their life. We were able to give them justice.
This is just, I mean, the first time I've seen that. But to know this is, my uncle bought this home and this is where he ended up is just heartbreaking. I mean, these are the things I try to hide from some of my family members and hope that they don't have to see. But yeah, it's very hard to look at that photo. My mom was an emotional disaster. She could not stop crying. She was a mess. The hardest feeling in the world for me is to see my mom broken like that. And that's exactly how I can describe my mom, broken. It feels like she convinced him to move here, and had he not moved here, he would still be alive. She needs to let go of all that pain. She needs to let go and understand that Uncle Jim is in a good place, and it's time to enjoy her life again, and it's not her fault. That.
All right, you got gloves? Hold on.
Yeah. All right, just keep her stable. Just keep her stable.
Let me go get my. All right, she's coming too. She's coming too.
When I found out that she was arrested, I had so much relief because now I could tell the family we got her. Now they don't have to stay up at night worrying, is this ever going to be finished?
Was there for. And just the smile on his face. In this moment, he was so proud. And I was so happy. It was a really good day. I miss his hugs a lot. And he always kissed the top of my head. Telling his story is definitely I think he would have been very excited to have another son. As much as he loved calling me his little girl.
This is my graduation photo. He was so proud, and
it was one of the only accomplishments that he part of my healing journey.
Definitely still in that healing process, and I really don't think that it'll ever stop. It just gets less. A way that I like to look at.
And it hadn't been finished or anything. So we worked our regular jobs during the day, and then every afternoon we'd work on the house. We finished half the upstairs. And then shortly after was when Callie was born. And then Wyatt, so we all shared this one big bedroom, really. It was really small for the four of us, but, you know, it was...
The grief doesn't get smaller. You just grow up around it. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do.
I cried. Just all of our plans we had, the kids and the farm and growing old together, all those things would never come to be.
Hey, nobody, please help until you do it. Can you?
Okay.
It was madness. It was people running everywhere. The radio was...
Accused Athens cop killer Jamie Hood.
My whole world just fell apart at that moment. I just remember kicking off my shoes so I could run faster and ran as fast as I could and gave him a big hug and just cried and cried.
Okay.
When I realized I'm on the phone with this murderer and I realized that he has people that are being held against their will, and one of the first things that came out of his mouth was, "We have babies." It's real. It's real. At that point, it's like, oh, wow. What if he hurts one of these kids? I don't know where his mind's at, but I know what he's already done. I know what he's capable of.
So this is a picture of Buddy and I on our wedding, February 17th, 1996. We were both 19.
That I'm sorry this happened to him. That he died alone. I just want him to be at peace. I hope that he's comfortable wherever he is, fishing.
Chaotic. Your adrenaline's pumping 100 miles an hour. You're trying to figure out what's going on. Last thing Buddy did was got on the radio and screaming, I'm shot, I'm shot. But that was kind of his last act of serving others, of trying to let others know what was going on.
The jury is now seated for the murder trial of accused.
Fine. But that was always our dream, was to build our house here and live the rest of our life here. We were very happy. I mean, nothing's ever perfect, but it was as perfect as it could be, with all the things and all the dreams that we were aspiring to do and working toward. Yeah, looking back, there's so many fond memories and things were pretty grand at the time.
Right there, that is Uncle Jim. always shirtless, always barefoot, and always fishing. That's the way I want to remember my Uncle Jim. Every time I take my boat out, I think of Uncle Jim, especially when I'm out offshore. And you can just close your eyes for a minute and just like hear the seagulls and hear the waves and just remember a happier, simpler time.
That is the milestone that I wish my dad was there for. Also didn't get to know the real me.
Right away, I guess it was around 11:30 or 12, he called me and said that he was at lunch. He was telling me, I think he and his buddy Charlie were eating at Chick-fil-A and they were having a good day. And I told him that we were about to go to lunch, so I better let him go. But later that day, I realized he had left me a message. So I still have that message on my phone.
Hey babe, just checking in. We hope you're having a good day. And I'll holler at you later. Love you. Bye.
Buddy and I met when we were in high school. When I first saw Buddy, I immediately loved his eyes. He had the longest eyelashes and his green eyes. They were just ocean green, just beautiful green eyes. He was just very fun-loving and energetic and always joking and helping others, and he was just a joy to be around. We've been married 4 years when we purchased our new farm.
I got her now. She's stuck. I can take her.
On March 22nd, 2011, it started out like any normal day. Work was busy, and it just worked out that I didn't get to talk to him.
I jumped out the boot of the car. They hog tied me and everything. And I knew exactly who one of the dudes they named Jamie Hood.
And that's what started the manhunt. He had boloed that information out. Everybody who was working was aware of the kidnapping and aggravated assault and shot. And for me, it was like the world stopped. We had never experienced anything like that. So I wanted to know, what happened and who was it? This had all started earlier that afternoon when a man in the east side of Athens was kidnapped. He was held at gunpoint, put in the trunk. He was able to escape while sitting in a red light, and that's what alerted the authorities.
Okay, 911.
Hey, how you doing? Hey, I would like to report a kidnapping.
Okay, where are you at?
Luckily.
And the offender was Jamie Hood. And so during that manhunt, your adrenaline's pumping 100 miles an hour. You're trying to set up. You're trying to figure out what's going on. The radio was chaotic. It was madness. It was people running everywhere. He performed a traffic stop, and when he went to get out of his vehicle, he was basically ambushed by Jamie Hood. And at that moment, Tony fell to the ground. That day, Buddy was on patrol. He was also looking for the offender, Jamie Hood. And then he saw Tony had a vehicle stopped. So as Buddy's coming up the road.
This is the voicemail that I found later that I didn't realize that I had. And so thankful that I had that. We always ended our phone conversations with, "I love you." So I think he just said, "Love you," but I'm glad that we always did that.
March 22nd, 2011 was a normal day for me. I had received a phone call from a Pierce sergeant in robbery homicide, and just the sound of his voice, he was frantic and said, "I need you to get back to office right now. We've got 2 officers." He doesn't know that Tony's been shot, and he just saw the offender running, and then Jamie Hood ran up to the side of Buddy's car and basically assassinated him.
Go. This shit. Somebody talk to us. Come on, talk to us. Who's it? We got 2 officers down. We got 1 signal point. Stay with me, Tony. All right, Tony, stay with us, okay, buddy? Come on. Buddy Christian? Relax, buddy. I'm with you, okay?
Buddy was shot several times, and that bullet went in between his vest and entered his heart.
It was heat. I'd see Buddy around. I always heard great things about Buddy. You know, there's sadness, there's anger. There's an anger that comes, but you don't have time to process that at that moment. You have to go and do the job. The priority is to locate Jamie Hood. We got him identified, so now we have to apprehend him. You just think, hey, there's somebody out there that's going to harm somebody else if we don't find them. At some point while I'm at the command post, we get law enforcement to basically just walk a line, searching through the woods. We knew that he was possibly on foot, but we didn't know if he was getting assistance. And my biggest fear was that one of his friends or colleagues or whatever had taken him out of the area. And tensions were high just because of the nature of the crimes that Jamie had committed and the fact that he hadn't turned himself in and that there had been officer-involved shooting, that an officer was deceased. Your initial reaction is, you know, do I know him? Me and Buddy went to the same high school. Madison County is a really, really small community, and I was born and raised there, and so, you know, law enforcement thinks they're walking into a gunfight.
My mom called me, and she heard that there were 2 Athens Clarke County police officers that had been shot. And so she called me and was like, have you heard from Buddy? I said, yes, I just talked to him, you know, about an hour ago at lunch, and, you know, he was fine. And as soon as I walked into work, my pastor was sitting there, the assistant chief, and then a good friend of Buddy and I's that worked at the police department as well. They were all standing there, and their faces, I could just tell that something was not good. I don't know what came over me because I
was prepared for what I seen. It's just seeing him in that car and slumped over, and then on his computer, picture of his kids, and just knowing what was going on at that moment. And, you know, this is my brother, this is my friend. And now he's paid the ultimate sacrifice. He's lost his life. And I had to stay focused because we had a job to do. And Buddy would expect us to do our job.
When we received the information,
turned around and immediately ran out the door and into the parking lot. You know, if I can stop them from telling me this, then it's not really happening. And the gentleman that worked at the police department, Mark, he caught me in the parking lot, and I just, you know, dropped to the ground. I asked him, you know, where, you know, can we go see him? And
last thing Buddy did was got on the radio and screaming, I'm shot, I'm shot. That was kind of his last act of serving others, of trying to let others know what was going on. As backup officers began to arrive at the scene, they immediately realized that Tony was still alive, and they immediately started CPR for him and got him medical care, and then went and checked on Buddy, and Buddy was already deceased. But at that point, I shifted my attention to the scene, and I don't believe,
you know, where is he? And he just shook his head. That was really hard because that's all I wanted to do in that moment was go be beside him. And I, you know, did not know what to do. And, you know, my whole world just fell apart at that moment. Just all of our plans we had.
And helping with the manhunt. As the commander of the Honor Guard, I had a responsibility to work with the family and help to plan a funeral. A few weeks before Buddy was shot and killed, we had an Honor Guard detail. We had officers standing guard at the casket, and Buddy was one of those officers. And as Buddy was standing there, the officer had a 10-year-old autistic child who kept saying, "Daddy, get up, Daddy, get up." And Daddy, come play with me. And it really, really, really affected Buddy. So he was really upset. And once he got relieved, he came to me and said, "Sir, I can't go back out there. I seen that as my son. I couldn't imagine that happening. I just can't do it. He could see that as being his son, and now they're realistic.
You know, the kids and the farm and growing old together, all those things would never come to be.
So my main focus was to catch the offender. There's also two roles, because while I was focused on the investigation, for me, it is his son. Once we had met with the family and I talked to Melissa, I think the last thing I said is, we're going to take care of it. We're going to make sure that he gets full honors. And I meant that. I wanted to make sure that we done right by her and her family.
After day one, we were grasping at straws on where Jamie Hood might be located. There was a sick feeling I remember having, thinking, what if we can't ever find this guy? I never felt that we were getting closer as time went on. I felt like more time went on, the further away he was getting. You see the stress on people's face as they're just almost like, what if we don't get him? What if we can't find him? Jamie's reputation in law enforcement was, first of all, that he was very erratic. People that had dealt with him before had said, hey, look, this guy is, he's kind of a loose cannon. And he actually went to prison for an armed robbery and had gotten out. He was getting tied into the drug syndicate or the drug group in the Athens area. And we think that's probably what led to the kidnapping of the individual in the car and all that. The vehicle that the original kidnap victim was in, that the other crimes, maybe victims that we're not aware of. As the days wore on, I felt like, man, things are just, we should already have him. That was what's going through my head. So we started pushing information out, including pictures of Jamie Hood, and the community responded. We were getting calls. The information was coming in. It was a ton, and we're trying to decipher. And we're getting this stuff, and I'll be honest with you, the command post, my understanding was that Amari Ray was at home. He lived with his parents, and that somebody had knocked on the door and asked him to come outside. And he came outside and was murdered beside a carport area, which was buzzing. There's a lot of activity. I'm wanting to clear my head just because it's pretty crazy, and I kind of walked down to the end of the command post and just gathering my thoughts. And like it got quiet all of a sudden, and I hear one of the dispatchers who knows me, and she goes, Trent, phone call. And so I'm just kind of like, I don't, what? And I almost was annoyed. And she goes, it's Jamie. And I was like, who? Multiple times, I believe with a 9mm, and left there. There were shell casings found at the scene there. And Jamie Hood was not a suspect in that case. But do we truly know how many other crimes were committed by this individual between that time or even prior to that time? We don't. There absolutely could. It's Jamie. I was like, Jamie who? This is Jamie Hood. And that was the moment that I realized he was calling into us.
Hey, Jamie. Hey, sir. Hey, brother. This is Trent Hills. I'm with the GBI. How are you?
Yeah, man. I can't keep doing folk like this, man.
All right.
The vehicle was discovered, and we seized it and towed it to the GBI office in Athens. Crime scene specialists are actually processing that vehicle, and they find a shell casing. And the case agent believed that that was fired from the same gun that killed Amari Ray. Hurts one of these kids. And he's up and down. He's very erratic. And I don't want to do anything to set him off.
Jamie, you still there, man?
Yeah, man.
Okay, but we want to get all the other people out of there, the people that are involved.
Oh, no, ain't nobody. Please help until you do this. Tell you.
Okay, Jamie. Okay.
I'll tell you what you're going to do.
Okay, all right. Jamie.
I wanted to run to him and give him a hug. As we're heading there, I start seeing helicopters and blue lights going everywhere. And I just looked over at him and I said, is that what I think it is? And he said, yes. And I didn't ask anything further. I knew that they would take care of it, and I knew that he would be captured one way or another, and I didn't have to worry about it. When we got there and they opened the door for me to go in, they were just going to let me go by myself for a while, so I had on heels.
Jamie.
I had been thinking about seeing Buddy all week because from the moment they told me he wasn't coming home, that's all I wanted to do was go see him. And being told no was just heartbreaking. That's all I wanted to do was go see him for whatever reason. And I just remember kicking off my shoes so I could run faster. And ran as fast as I could to the casket and gave him a big hug and just cried and cried and cried. When we were dating, we lived in different counties and were long distance from each other.
A little bit. But at one point, he starts putting other people on the phone. And one of the first things that came out of his mouth, or the first things I remember coming out of his mouth, was, "We have babies."
Can you tell me how many folks are in there with Jamie?
Yes, it's 8 and a newborn. It's 8 and a newborn. It's 9 and all.
9 total, 8 and a newborn.
Yes, sir.
It's real. It's real. At that point, it's like, oh, wow. What if he...
You know, can't keep carrying on in there.
All right, man. See.
Yeah, now look, though. Hey. I'm going to let you talk to these hostages. If you get all their names and let you know their eyes, okay?
Okay, all right. Let me talk to the hostage.
When I realized I'm on the phone with this murderer, and I realized that he has people being held against their will, my mind starts racing.
Our parents got onto us for our long distance phone calls, so we had to write letters. And we always signed them, "Love Me," because we liked the song, "Between now and then, until I see you again, I'll be loving you, love me." So we always signed our letters that way. And I had actually written a letter.
Having a conversation with me and a dialogue with me.
Okay, Jamie. All right, I want you to hear me now. I need you, before this stuff starts happening, I need you to let them kids out, man. The kids,
oh, yeah, that's what you gonna do. You gonna let them out the way I tell you to let them out.
I know, Jamie.
I didn't have to call you, Trent.
Okay, you're right, Jamie. You didn't have to call us then.
So I'm helping you out, Trent. To the team. With your team over here, okay?
Okay.
When you get here, hey, you call me.
Okay, tell me where. Tell me where you want me to get the team to. I don't know where you're at right now.
Hold on, you can tell you your address.
Okay, all right. We're about to get started.
Hello?
Okay, I need to know where you're at, sweetie. Tell me what the
I know the exact amount of time I was on the phone with him, but I know it was numerous short conversations. I'm not a negotiator. I don't have that training, but one thing that the GBI does a good job with is they teach us how to talk to people and how to relate. So that's where my mind went, is that, hey, this is just an interrogation.
Me and you are in this, buddy. We're in this together, okay?
And now you're talking my language.
Yeah, we're
not
in
being selfish, Trent.
Yes, sir. We're in it together. We're in it together.
You got the address. Get the team over here.
Okay, get the team over there.
Well, they get me to the location, and the negotiators are there listening and everything. So I was able to pass the phone off at that moment. And there was so much relief when I got that phone out of my hand.
Lieutenant Magnuson, can I help you?
Hey, yeah, hold on. Do you want to keep these folks alive?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, do you want to keep these rest of these folks goddamn alive over here?
Yes, sir.
You get me this food team so they can watch y'all. Come touch you.
You don't trust us, so you want to see us on the television?
Oh yeah, y'all gonna see me.
Love football, man. It's one of my favorite things. We can talk that. We talk football. We're in this together. Me and you are in this together.
I was trying to pull out something that we had in common, and he went from cussing me out to actually...
That I had worked on that the whole week, all the things that I wanted to say. I sat and read in my letter and just sat there and just was happy that I could finally be there and do that. That was what I told him. Was between now and then, till I see you again, I'll be loving you, love me.
I truly don't talk to this guy. And ego kicks in. As an investigator, you want to be the one that gives the confession.
My name's Jack. This is Trent. We're here from the GBI. We're going to talk to you.
Oh, you Trent? Yes.
Yeah.
That was the beginning of the interview with Hood after he was taken into custody. We did not think he would talk at all. So as we get ready to do the interrogation, I totally kind of blend into the background. I want the other agent to lead it.
Y'all can give me a lesson, man. I'm middle of that drain, bro.
He...
You know, it's the teamwork. Hold on, when you play football, if you run the ball by yourself, you have a center and a line blocking for you.
You're right.
So let's play team ball then, bro. Let's get this over with, man.
Listen,
so y'all can go on back home.
Okay, me and you have a lot in common, man. I'm telling you right now. We want this thing to end peacefully. We want it to end smoothly. We both address this.
102.
102?
Please.
There was a sense of relief because I knew we weren't looking for him anymore. But then the anxiety of he could hurt more people was, kind of replaced that little bit of relief pretty quick. From the time that he first called to the time that I heard in custody over the radio, I believe it was right at 9 hours. It seemed like forever. And I kind of sat there, gathered myself, and I was almost like, oh, it's over. For about 5 minutes, and then realized, hey, yeah, we're not. I don't believe he felt remorse. I believe he, in his mind, that's what he had to do to try getting away that day, and that's what he was doing. Jamie, he is very streetwise. He knew what he was doing, and he was trying to manipulate the situation. From the first interview, when we left the interview, when it was concluded, we actually left in kind of good terms with the knowledge that, hey, we're coming back to talk to you again, and he seemed to be fine with that.
But the ones who suffer and pay the most are the families, the ones that are left behind, to pick up the pieces and to try to move on.
The body of slain officer Buddy Christian arrives at the cemetery. Hundreds of people line the path as the carriage is followed by Christian's family.
The whole procession, I think it was about 7 miles, but it was lined, the whole street. The community came out. I mean, there wasn't a bare spot along the whole route. And the kids and we got to see all of that. And people had...
Never asked for an attorney, but he does say, I'm tired. I just really don't want to talk about it right now. So at that point, we're thinking we're not going to ask any questions. And we just kind of sat back and he kept talking and we let him talk.
I want it to be easy as possible because I was wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
You don't want to give me the death chair I deserve because what I did. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
hey, I'm wrong, bro. I ain't here to make your job hard.
He loves the attention, which aggravated the mess out of us. I felt like we were almost feeding into him a little bit.
We'll talk to you. Thank you, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's a picture of Jamie Hood, and I don't care to see that, and that's what evil looks like. After 12 years, I'm still disgusted just to see it, just because of the coward he was and what he did to this community and the Christian family and the Howard families. It meant a lot to me that he was in custody at that moment. I just broke down. Seems like all the way before that, from the start.
The only thing I regret is hurting that damn innocent man. What else to do was hurt me to the core of my damn heart.
Talking about other officers?
Yeah. His folks, he was a good one in the church having folk. That's the only thing hurt me, keeping it real.
Yes,
and hurting these innocent folks. You know, these kids, you traumatized them.
I understand.
You see, whatever they give me, the share. I did it, see. We need the police. We couldn't live without you.
So he apologized or verbalized remorse for killing Buddy Christian. I'll take this with me to the grave, that everything he did was very calculating. He's wanting media there. He thought that we were going to execute him. I do think he thought that. Our biggest concern was that he was wanting to go out in a blaze of glory, for lack of a better term. It was a total relief at that moment, but we still had people in that house. And then I hear over the radio 1095, which means there's a 10 code for in custody. When he surrendered between two ladies because he was scared of having to face the consequences for his actions. And I think that's the definition of a coward.
Started this 6 days ago. I kept everything in. I was focused on Buddy. I was focused on Melissa. I was focused on doing the right thing. It really hit me at really the magnitude and what we had.
Drug trading going on, it made sense that he was one that was liable for that murder. Looking at the end results here with a dead police officer, a kidnapping, we look back at it and we do feel like, hey, if we would have solved Amari Ray's murder the night of the murder, this stuff wouldn't have happened.
Lost as a department, as a community. It was really tough. In any situation where an officer loses their life, they wanted to serve their community and they gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Never mentioned Amari Ray. He never did make a statement in reference to that. Amari Ray's family deserves some closure too, and there needs to be justice. So we're going to try to put that piece together.
Police tell me they are investigating Jamie Hood as a possible suspect in the shooting death of 30-year-old Kenneth Omari Ray.
His name never came up as a suspect in that case until after Buddy was murdered and we started that investigation. The relationship between Amari Ray and Jamie Hood was not as clear-cut. Our belief is that Amari Ray might have been involved in the drug trade a little bit. And we don't know if there was other grudges. We don't know that, but that seems to be the main focus of what set everything in motion. And then there was he never gave us what I call a true confession, where he fills in all the gaps. He basically says, I'm sorry for killing that man. So we never got a true confession from him. I feel strong we could have took him into a courtroom that day and convicted him for the murder of Buddy. But we're trying to attach him to another homicide. We were trying our best to figure out the Amari Ray murder at that point. Through all the interviews and contact I had with Jamie Hood, he
signs, our hero, and thank you, Officer Christian, or thank you, Buddy. And it was just amazing. But you can tell in my face, I was really an autopilot. I just really switched it off and just going through the motions. I was given the folded flag from the...
One of Buddy's lifelong goals was to build a house on the property that they had, and the community looked at that as an opportunity to really fulfill Buddy's dream and to help know that his kids would be taken care of and have a nice place to live. And so they got together a lot of fundraisers, and a beautiful house was...
But I can't go back in time. You can't point fingers, and there are no fingers to point. If you do, you point them at yourself.
After 4 years, 3 judges, and 2 sets of defense attorneys, a jury is now seated for the murder trial of accused Athens cop killer Jamie Hood.
After he fired 2 sets of defense attorneys.
I want to become, So it's just still a learning process every day. I remember him telling me, if something ever happened to me, you have to live. You have to continue our dreams and live for me. And, you can't sit and pine away. You have to live. And that gives me a more reason to be happy and do things, because I know he wants me to do that. So part of my joy and finding joy on this new road that I've started is I've gotten remarried. God just works in mysterious ways, and he led this wonderful man into our lives, and he knew Buddy, so he has his own stories about him, and he can tell the kids, and he knows of his character and, all those things. And when we got married, I believe Callie was 8 or just about to turn 9, and she said, my family's whole again. So she was so happy, Chief, and I just hugged it. That was, I felt like I was hugging him. It was just a beautiful tribute to someone who gave his life for his community. But then getting back home, it was like, okay, now what? And I remember sitting there with my mom and looking at the picture. I'm like, how is this real? What? I don't really believe it still. It's not just can't be.
He did confess to killing Buddy Christian, but he's a coward.
Following Buddy's death, the community has really stepped up in remembering and creating opportunities to remember Buddy. Bill. And, Melissa, she's very strong. She may be quiet and timid, but she's very strong, and she has done everything to make sure that she properly honors Buddy and his memory. And she's just been amazing in her commitment to keeping Buddy's memory alive. Melissa made sure that the kids know their father, even though he's no longer here.
Hood is acting as his own lawyer in this death penalty case.
I feel like in his mind, this is a big movie, and he's the star character, and everybody else is just small bit part actors in it. Never could step back from himself and say, hey, I ruined a bunch of lives here. And he liked being up there. He liked the grandstand. In my mind.
And I miss that.
This past February would have been our 27th wedding anniversary. And I always go to the cemetery and put new flowers on his headstone. And I try not to, get too upset about what it could have been and just try to remember, all the 15 years that we got to share together. There's just so many things that you just become one person. And when that's gone, it's like half of you died. I think half of me did die, and I've had to rebuild that other half. And it still is a journey for me to rebuild myself and figure out, who I am without him and who I still, and, show the kids that, yes, this happened, but it's not going to define our life, and we're still going to live a good life and our best life and honor your dad and keep him in our heart and, still do all these dreams. They'll be different dreams, but they're going to have pieces of what I had started out on. And, it did not defeat us. We will overcome it. Be to have a dad here and a dad in heaven. And it just was really beautiful the way we were able to weave everything together. A lot of people get stuck and don't continue on with that fork in the road, but I decided I was going to do all that I could to live like he told me to.
Just like his daddy, so. I think the sad thing is that he's having to be at a cemetery and just look at a picture of his father versus being able to actually hold his father and having someone there to be there for him. What do I miss about Buddy? I miss his smile, jokes, and just his personality. He's just genuinely a really, really great guy.